What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. Back with our inspiration motivation. We had a wonderful live as usual. We had some special chat guests, all the clowns and haters, led by our favorite Mr. Law Dog in the building. You know, we had a lot of activity going on. You tell it's getting close to the season. It's exciting, and it's going to be very entertaining, or not, for those haters when Colorado win. It tends to get very distant during that time. But we're going to enjoy it. Because Coach Prime said, get me now, and we're going to draw all to get back this year. Mark our word. And I was thinking, a lot of people talking about a lot of things. I know today we was talking about the difference of CU. We had so much activity. I didn't really get around to some points. And one of the points was, nobody's talking about that unity factor, right? They say the boys getting along better, they hanging out, they joke on Shadua about taking people out to eat, taking them on trips. They mocking that, but it didn't happen last year. And they dogged them out as if it was something. But clearly it was a disconnect. And like I said, rightfully so. Some of them guys may have been intimidated. I mean, they was there before, and they were worried about the Louis and all of that. So it wasn't a great foundation. And a lot of the new guys, you know, they were kind of one and out guys. It wasn't a lot of long-term guys outside of the freshmen. And people had their own agenda, and it showed. It really did. But the connection, the camaraderie is what was missing, and a lot of people recognize that, especially after the fact. It was too late. But I don't hear a lot of people talking about the coaches. Slipped right on the radar. A lot of the guys Coach Prime has brought in, he's brought in reinforcement. He's brought in people who got his back. He brought in some coaches who coached with him before, and he brought in some guys who knew would fit in well. So they got some new guys like Loadhart. He's hungry, though. They brought in new guys who hungry. They didn't bring in new guys with ego. They didn't bring in guys who was going to try to bump chests with Coach Prime and try to rival him. You know, they know who team it is. So when you look at it, the guys he brought in knew they hungry. They got something to prove. And they're not there to be Lone Rangers. They didn't come in, I need my guys to come in with me. None of that. Even with our defense coordinator. A lot of people talking, but this guy hungry. This is his time to shine. This is his opportunity to show how smart he is. People are underestimating the weirdest thing. I think they're up over 140-something years of NFL experience. And people mock them. Like, oh, you don't have college experience. You're not a coordinator before. It's the weirdest thing. Let me tell you why. It's almost like I decided to be a high school coach, and I bring a whole bunch of my guys with me from where I come from. We come from college. And you say, oh, they don't know how to deal with the high school level. They don't know how to college. Now, you're telling me I come from a higher, more challenging, more skilled level. And when I come down a level, you mock me like what I have to bring to the table is not enough. It's not sufficient. It's weird. It's not like I'm saying that I'm bringing a bunch of high school coaches to the college level. I'm bringing top quality NFL experience. Played. I know you're not saying everybody to go to NFL. Everybody go to NFL. They played. I mean, they were good enough. And they had some solid careers. And we bring them down to coach college players who are trying to get to the NFL at best. And you say they have nothing to offer. Now, I'm not saying every coach is a good coach. I'm not saying that everybody who is good at sports will make a good coach. You can take it out of context if you must. But I'm saying that if a guy is willing and capable of coaching, and Coach Prime decides that, I think he's able to interview and decide who's good at what. Who's a good fit. Do you think that if they're able to do that, that's not valuable? You thinking that 2 gold jackets is not valuable because they didn't coach before or one never coached before? You're telling me that you don't see what Warren Sapp is doing? His level of detail, his level of energy, his passion, his credibility is not affecting the quality of the defensive line? Something wrong with you if you don't. If you don't know the power of that, and you try to minimize it, what's going on in this world has sapped your brain. It's just zapped. Because He's clearly brought in reinforcements on a level right up, and it's not even like up under your nose, but under your nose. Right in front of everybody's faces. And people looking at it and have the audacity to play it down. These guys have probably more NFL experience than anybody, which means they have a higher perspective than just college. The same way I would think if I brought a whole team of college coaches to high school, regardless of, you don't understand the nuances, but they bring in a higher level to a level of kids who are trying to get to that level. The skill level is not there yet. The experience is not there yet, and yeah, I'm bringing it. Do you think that if I brought a college staff, that it wasn't better prepare those high school guys compared to their little geometry coaches that they have? That's an automatically, duh. The math teacher is their coach, and you're going up against a bunch of guys that came from UGA. That's a clear advantage. Yet, people had the audacity to not respect the NFL experience that Coach Prime is bringing, the level of IQ, football IQ you have to have at that level to compete and to thrive. And yet we have several guys who have to bring that, plus 2 gold jackets. And people still underestimate Colorado. But I'm going to go a step further than that. He's bringing in a lot of guys who came there for the get back. They come for the get back. They said out of their own mouths, I couldn't sit back and watch my boy get dogged out. Coaches stab him in the back. I got to go help him out. These guys who probably never would have coached, not like they was begging to coach, not all of them. They came because they said, we refuse to let this little narrative go further. We refuse to see him fail. That's the kind of guys there. There's no chest bumping now. There's nobody that'll stab him in the back now, undercut him now. They made sure of that by surrounding him with people who value him, by surrounding him with people that support him and that love him as a person, their friend. That's the kind of people he surrounded himself with, in addition to what he already had. He replaced them with people who he could trust, who going to be there. They're not going to stand back and let a coach undercut him. They're not going to stand back and let little schisms and stuff develop on that coaching staff. His boys are there now. He had some that came with him from Jackson, but he brought in extra reinforcement. But nobody's talking about that. People's brain don't work like it used to. Or maybe that's the problem. It's not quite processing to the level it should. Because when you look at it, it should have some value. Especially knowing the biggest issue they had last year was camaraderie and working with people they didn't know and working with people who may have other agendas. A lot of these guys that came here, they're not coming here because they want to be him or replace him or compete with him. They come in purely to help him. He just added another analyst for a former teammate, an NFL level experience. We don't quite know him like that, but Coach Prime do. And we do know he got at least a decade more of NFL experience. That you only going to get to see what that means from the input he can bring. That's his job. He's not there just to hang out and drink Gatorade. It's a lot of unknowns with Colorado. And people play it for the negative. But just maybe this man know what he's doing. Just maybe these people know more than they putting off. Just maybe Robert Livingston, veteran NFL coach, recruiter, scout, whatever you want to call it. Just maybe he ain't as dumb as you want to make him to be. Maybe he got more knowledge than you want to think he have. What's wrong with people? He did a little college, he did a whole lot of NFL, yet he may just know as much as the guy on the Pee Wee football league. That's what you're saying? You think his football IQ, his defensive IQ is lower than a college coach because he coached at a higher level for multiple years, proven to be a future coach. Young guy, come back down to college, and you think he's going to lack knowledge. I'm not talking about adjusting to culture and rules. I'm talking about football. You think that he don't know football, being in an NFL setting, the level of rigor it takes to outwit other NFL coaches and players, right? Who players are better, NFL or college? So him coaching NFL players, he can't coach college. It's amazing. People are a trip. People, they're functioning, they're rational, they're reasoning. I don't know what people think. It's illogical to not properly assess information. You all, we're living in a world now where common sense just ain't that common. And people would rather listen to TV talking points or other people talking points with a bias at that. You'd rather get your information from a biased, clearly, openly biased source. That's who you'd rather bank it on. You'd rather listen to that. That's scary, guys. We're in a world now where we got access to information better than others. Could it get blocked? Could it get censored? Clearly. But we're finding this robotic, follow the leader, thoughtless, naive pattern of thinking in the world today that's very dangerous, where we will rather, maybe it's laziness, take the talking points that's clearly foolish, clearly illogical. We'd rather follow that than to use even the most basic common sense with these points that people have. It's okay to question things, guys, especially if it's just dumb. Like, you're mixing talking points to make a talking point. You're creating facts from falsehood. And this just repeated enough times and said loud enough, and you think that make it true. There's nothing more untrue than this 140-year plus experience in the NFL meaning nothing at the college level. I don't know where that logic came from, but somebody's lost it. Don't fall for the okie doke. You're grown. Hopefully I'm talking to grown people. Maybe a few young people. Young people learn. Use your sense if you got it. Now, if you don't have sense, use somebody else's sense. But don't repeat a dumb lie. Don't repeat facts that are clearly not facts. Truth ain't that hard to find. But when you let emotion and bias lead you, it'll make a fool out of you. Even if it's the popular opinion, don't be a fool. It's foolish. People say, oh, Colorado. Now, I'm just talking common sense now. Don't degrade somebody because it's cool or because it's said by somebody else with wishful thinking. Use common logic. My common logic is this. NFL experience count for something. You're not going to place it below college because that is the next level. And you got a bunch of guys with that level of experience, players, coaches, etc. You're not going to tell me Colorado is doomed because you're mad they have more NFL experience than college experience. It just might be quite the opposite. But time will tell. But I'm just me. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. And I'll talk to y'all soon.